On the first episode of Business Taco, a question from Mike Hillman. Would you consider growing or marketing small business niches as a category that is too saturated to go after? Well, Mike, we'll answer that question in this episode.
Welcome to Business Taco, the only show with tips you can learn in the time it takes to eat a taco. Or perhaps a burrito.
Here's how the game works. We have to answer the question in the time it takes this random person, who's not that random, it's my wife, to eat a taco. So Ricky, how do we find out if a niche is too saturated? Because this is something that everyone has to decide when you create a new website. You have to decide, one, is there enough traffic? And then two, is it so competitive that I can't get a piece of it?
Right, and I think one of the big things that we've discovered over time is that chances are you're going to overestimate your competition. It's going to look like there's more competition than there really is. So as we start thinking about if a niche is a little bit too saturated to go after, we start doing some competitive analysis, and it's actually really pretty basic. Mm-hmm. We're going to go to Google and we're going to start looking stuff up. Now, if I just go to Google and I type in growing a small business, I'm going to get a lot of search results from some really top websites. But if we start searching maybe some more specific terms, specific search phrases about growing a small business, then we can start to get a feel for where there might be some openings.
Yeah, and this is completely different. The way that we do this analysis is completely different than the way that most people do. Most people, when you're trying to find out how competitive a keyword is, you're going to go to a tool. You're going to go to a keyword tool, and it will give you a number. It's this, however competitive. The reason that we don't use those is just because as we have compared those over years and thousands of articles that we've written, we compare reality to how hard it was to rank to the tools, and like most of the time there's hardly a correlation between these two.
Right.
And so I feel like the tools leads you to make incorrect decisions, which we've talked about in previous videos, and that's why we kind of take a very down-to-earth practical approach to doing a competitive analysis, because we found this to just work better for us.
So what happens if I type in how to grow a small business? So this is what I told you not to do, right? Because this is at the top level. I'm going to see all of the biggest competition, okay? And I've got 27 low-cost ways to grow your small business, 5 ways small business owners can grow in 2017 from Forbes, okay? Fast Company, 5 essential principles for growing your small business. These may not be fantastic articles, but even if I write a really good one, I'm probably not going to outrank Fast Company and Forbes on a brand new website. But that doesn't mean that it's overly competitive. What that means is I need to dig in a little bit deeper. So what's something we could search related to growing or marketing a small business?
Small business bookkeeping tips. We're just trying to think of a keyword that's something in the small business space. And now we're looking at these articles and we're really just asking ourselves one question. Are these results so good that I don't think I could create a more helpful resource than this?
Right.
So the first article is from entrepreneur.com. It's a pretty authoritative site, but it's from 2011. That's pretty old, so that has an opening. The next one is cabbage.com. I have no idea what that is, but it looks like they may be selling us something, some software. So that's a good sign. We may be able to rank for this. The next is thebalance.com. 5 bookkeeping tips for small business owners. Okay, so that's right on point. Top 25 bookkeeping tips from the pros. So what we're seeing here is there are kind of a mix of authoritative sites and not so authoritative sites, but all of the articles are exactly on point. They're exactly bookkeeping tips. What gets us more excited is when it has like one article about bookkeeping tips for small business, and then the other one is like accounting information or something, things that are tangentially related that Google's tossing in there because it can't find a better result.
That's exactly right.
So I would say this is pretty competitive.
It is fairly competitive, and because of that, does that mean that it's so competitive that you can't carve out a niche? You probably can. You just need to continue down this path, okay? So try 3 or 4 more different search phrases, maybe more than that. Think about if growing a small business is sort of your thing, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, if I don't do that, I don't really have a topic. then okay, what is your thing within growing a small business? What do you know about? What would you write about? And go do some searches around there. And based on those topics, you're going to get an idea of what the competition really looks like.
Yeah, before I commit to making a niche site, we gotta hurry. She's finishing the taco. Before I commit to making an entire niche site that's a months-long project, I'm going to want to do this a lot. I'm going to want to make sure that I can find 15, 20, 30 different keywords that the competition looks low. Now, a couple other signals to look for, since these were competitive, other signals to look for that say this isn't so competitive is, oh, she's got almost the whole thing in her mouth. No, other signals are like if you see forum results. Forum results are the lowest form of quality online. Or if a result is really low from a website you've never heard of, things like that will tell you that, okay, I can easily beat this. But it's okay to see other articles written on the same topic. But you just need to ask, can I make a more helpful resource than that person? If you can, then it's a keyword you should write about.
Yep. As part of this Business Taco segment, we want to invite you to participate in the Business Taco segment. If you would like to be our next participant on Business Taco, go ahead and go to, what did we set up?
Incomeschool.com/taco.
That's right.
And you just selfie mode, record yourself eating a taco or perhaps a burrito.
Yeah.
And just give us the email or give us the link to your video, or you can send it through that form, and then we'll show you. And we'll give you a shout out to your website if you have a URL for a website you're working on.
And now for a dramatic reading of one of your YouTube comments, which I found hilarious. PDR Zone says, okay, you say put a photo on your website or blog over 30 times. How was never covered? Listen to this. Just put an article on your website. How so with the photo? On the blog page, on the blogger, on what part? The front page, the top, the bottom? Common.
Jay McD asks, how evergreen is niche citing going to be for the long term? Love seeing that as a verb, by the way. What if Google does something in the near or far future to change the game?
All right. Well, let's get a taco going.
What do you think? I mean, are you afraid of just niche sites as a general business model becoming ineffective?
I'm not, for multiple reasons. One, I don't like to live my life in fear of what might happen until I actually start to see indicators of a shift. I'm not going to make a big change. For example, I'm not going to pull all my money out of the stock market because it might collapse one day, okay? And when I look at the internet, there are some little shifts happening, right? People, when they have a simple one-off question, they'll just ask Google or Siri or Alexa.
Yeah. An article called How Many Calories Are in an Orange is not a viable article today because Google will just say 60 calories.
Right.
You don't need to read an article about that. It just gave you the answer. So that cuts out, one very specific type of post.
Right.
But a machine, Google as an algorithm, is never going to be able to write something like, 3 mistakes I made in my business this year. It can't do that. It's not a human being. It's not having human experiences. And so while algorithms are going to change and continue to improve, I think.
Sure.
It still can't. It's still not going to become a human, and so I'm not worried about that. What I do consider a lot more is, what about a format change? What if people are reading more blog posts now, and then they start transitioning to YouTube instead of going to websites?
Right, and that is definitely a concern. But you know what? What we like to do is just keep our eyes out. If we have websites and we start to see the traffic shifting away from our websites and more toward YouTube, then we're going to shift with it. We also like to try to diversify where our traffic comes from. So we don't do,
we're good.
we don't do all of our marketing just through YouTube to get people to our website. You try to build up an email list or
SEO articles to your website.
Absolutely.
Exactly why you will not be seeing Income School creating a Facebook page, because Facebook is just not sending that traffic, and so we're not going to play their game.
From there.
We're going to do something different. And it's really just a matter of watching what's happening in the industry and then being nimble enough to move as those shifts happen. over the last 8 years of running websites, I've seen some shifts, and some of them were really scary. When I had a following of 600,000 followers on Facebook, and Facebook started to not really letting people see my links to go to the website and stuff, whoa, that hurt. And that was really scary for a while. But you quickly learn to shift. You say, okay, I've got to get this audience and I've got to move them onto, going to my website, just typing it in every day to see new articles. So maybe I'm going to start writing news. Or, you say, let's get them subscribed to the email list or whatever it is. You can shift and adapt as long as you just have your eyes open and see what's coming down the pike in the industry.
Right, exactly. And again, I hate the idea of living in fear of what might happen. We can say, yeah, sure, either Google might change something or the internet just may change. The way people interact with it may change. And it will. But it's not going to be a night today. Tomorrow it's different and niche sites are obsolete.
Right.
We're going to have time to make adjustments, and that's what we're here for. We're going to be testing the waters all the time, and as we do, we'll make you guys aware of what we find and what's working today.
Yeah, for example, YouTube, I think is one of those changes. It used to be that I didn't do any YouTube, anything like that, with the niche websites that I create, and now I think for most niches, YouTube is really helpful to get your niche going, because it's just another source of people that can be coming to your website. Because some things, how to fix a leaky faucet, something like that, I'm going to go directly to YouTube for that. But that doesn't mean it's stolen the traffic from a niche website, because now I give the answer how to fix the leaky faucet, and I say, you really need these 3 things that will help you all fix all your home plumbing needs so this doesn't happen again. Go to my article for it.
And she's done. All right, so one other thing that we want to remind you guys of, don't forget to comment on our YouTube videos this year. We have a contest going on, and just comment on our YouTube videos between now and the end of the year to win a couple of days with us coming to you to work with you on your websites.
Also, we have incomeschool.com/course. That's where we show you step by step the 60 actions we take to create a profitable niche website, get traffic to it, and earn money. It's worked for us over and over again, and we hope you'll check it out, incomeschool.com/course. Thanks, everybody.